Welcome, everyone, to another playoff interview. I have some special guests with me today. I have Eden Toryland and Eden Major, the bot lane. What's up, y'all? How are y'all doing?
Pretty
Doing
good.
good.
Well, sweet. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. I don't know if you guys know, but you're probably my second or third favorite team outside of my own team. So I was really rooting for you guys this season. So I'm looking forward to this interview. First things first, as always in playoff interviews, I got to know a little more about you, how your team came together, any little story you'd like to tell us.
Yeah, so we've actually been a team for a pretty long time. I don't know if you heard about the Limitless blow up, but we were Limitless Eclipse before that happened, and then we split and made our own org, and we were basically the first team to come to it since we just moved over. Roster's been moving around, but we've been a team for quite a while, and yeah, so we moved up to gold. We used to be a silver team, and of course, we still have some silver members, but it's we just don't play at a silver level anymore. So it wasn't really right to stay there.
Okay, okay. What about yourself? Do you play any other games outside of league or?
Yeah, so I play a lot of Binding of Isaac, which is fun. Stardew Valley, Terraria, The Forest,
Oh,
all I play an absolutely stupid amount of games. So yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah, how did you guys find out about Duo? You've played before, or somebody told you about it?
I think it was on a list of leagues that were like accepting at one point. Pretty much we were just looking through the different leagues that we could qualify for, especially with Major being at Gold 1, and we were just a little worried. So,
Okay, okay.
I think we
Well,
also found that it just like fit the day that we had available to play on and everything.
yeah.
okay. Well, what about you, Major? What are some of your hobbies or things you do outside of the game? Since we got the Eden backstory from Toryland.
Um, Honestly, I play a lot a lot of other games too, mostly strategy games though, things like EU4, Civilization,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
No Valorant players in this. This is the first time. Everybody else
Uh,
is like Valorant. I play
nah,
Valorant.
Not much FPS.
I haven't played FPS in like 6 years by this point.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
It's been a while.
What game got you guys into gaming?
Ooh. Man, probably Minecraft, but like back in the day, it really was Roblox. Like
Ah,
I was one of those kids. So.
ah, telling your
But
age there.
Minecraft for the real, like thing.
What about you, Major?
Honestly, probably growing up, it was like Madden and that kind of stuff, and then
Okay,
we like eventually like Modern Warfare 2.
got it, got it. I think I was, man, Modern Warfare 2. I think I was like 17 or 18 when that game came out. So, I was a RuneScapian there for a little
Oh
while
my god,
back in
I
the day.
actually did touch RuneScape originally, and I just I
That was
forgot about
my
that.
very first
I think
PC
that was the
game.
first one I touched. Yeah.
Back when AOL Online, my mom used to call and kick me
Oh
off when I was
wow.
in the wilderness, bro. It was awful. So moving on, you guys have PSA Game One. Probably the harder matchup of any team, right? PSA outside of TLO PGM definitely looks to be on TLO PGM level sometimes. How are you guys feeling about that game? What's the prep looking like? Obviously, you don't have to divulge any draft secrets or anything like that. So,
I'll move that right over to Major because, to be honest, I have a very very bad memory. So when it comes to any of the teams we played, I will not know who they are. So Major, you go ahead.
Yeah. I think I think we're feeling pretty good going into PSA. Honestly, I think the only teams that we're a little more worried about were the top two. I think everybody else is kind of has good days and has bad days, and so it's kind of coin flip of when they'll show up or not. I also think we're just excited to get into or get out of best of ones because we've always kind of struggled in that as a team and like the longer series. So
is
it'll be nice to start prepping for that.
do you guys happen to have the playoff bracket pulled up so we could
Yes.
talk a
I
little more
do,
about it?
yeah.
Sweet. So with PSA being your game one, I'm sure that you guys are going to take your own team for that victory. I will say about PSA is that they actually beat us recently, so I think they're on the uprise. But I'm glad to hear
I
some
think that same week they
confidence.
also dropped to ATS. Or maybe it was DOV.
DOV. It
I
was
think it was
DOV.
DOV.
Yeah, it was DOV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, hey, your point holds true. Ups and downs, right? Now, do you think that if you show up on your best day and PSA shows up on their best day, that you guys come out victorious? And if you do, what are you looking at for game score?
It's 5 games, right?
No, it's 3 games.
Oh, it's 3 games.
Yes,
Oh,
so you get best of threes
okay.
until semis, which is game 7 and game 9.
Oh, okay, okay. I would say probably I would take us in a 2-1.
Okay. Okay.
I probably would have said 3-1 if it was if it was fives.
Well, Toryland, considering you don't know a lot about these teams, this may be a quick interview because we're probably going to talk about teams for about the rest of the interview. Game 2 is TDL versus DOV, which realistically will determine opponents in the losers bracket. Who do you guys feel is the better team of those two?
I remember them a little bit more. Probably TDL. I'm not gonna lie. Am I right
Okay.
there, Major?
Yeah, yeah, I'd give it to TDL as well.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but TDL will be playing the entire playoff bracket with only one ban versus every team every game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
So
did know that.
yeah, I think I have
I
DOV
still
in
give it to
my own
TDL.
bracket, but oh, still giving it to TDL. Okay, okay.
Yep.
Off the back of Infernos, the top laner. Yeah, I think he,
Um, a bit. I don't know. I think they have a pretty solid roster altogether. Especially the subs that they come in. I don't know if he's even gonna be playing top,
okay.
but yeah, I think they just have a solid roster. I think when we played DOV both times, we didn't have much of an issue with them.
Okay. Sweet. So moving forward, game 3, that would put you guys versus TLO. No, that puts you
PGM.
guys versus PGM, and then TDL versus TLO. How do you guys? How are you stacking up against PGM, the 15-1 monster that is apparently just running through the league right now?
Uh, I think we struggled with them. I think they were the team we struggled with the most, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me look at the second one. Yeah, I think they were the team we were struggling with the most. I definitely think we could take some games off them in a best of, but I think I'd probably have to say it goes their way
Okay. What about you,
that
Tori?
series.
Yeah, I would agree because I do remember PGM and TLO being issues, but TLO was one of those things where we I remember we were just having a bad bot lane day on one of the games, and that was the thing that really stuck out in my mind about playing against them. So I think with PGM it was definitely worse.
Okay. Okay. Uh, that would put you guys down to the lower bracket. Who do you have in the game TLO versus TDL to determine your opponent? Actually, that's not true. You guys would play. You guys would play
I
DOV
believe
in
it
your
would,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys would be playing DOV. So what do you feel about DOV versus you guys?
I
Probably not
personally I
bad.
think we just take DOV. I
Okay.
every time we play them, it has not felt like it's been an issue at all.
So I've said this a couple of times. This is just I think no bias, just an honest opinion. I would probably put you guys in DOV in the same level as far as playoff teams go. I like DOV because of their like flip floppy. They take advantage of his mistakes well. Let me say that. Now, I don't necessarily think they win a lot of games off their own actions. I think that they win a lot of games off of the enemy team's mistakes. So I can definitely see a world where Eden beats DOV. the DOV that shows up versus us seems to be the worst DOV there is. And then sometimes when they play PGM, they're the only team to take a loss or win over off of PGM. So sometimes they stack up well versus PGM. So it's they're such a weird team because they have really high
Yeah.
highs and really low lows.
I'm looking at it now, and we went 1-1 with them, and the second one was pretty clean by us, and the first one should have been. That was the one that I keep saying that I just threw away the entire game for us. Where like we smashed bot lane, we smashed mid lane, and then I just like had 5 deaths in a row for no reason. Where I just like turned off my brain.
Oh, I remember talking to you about that game.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
yeah.
that's why I don't know. It felt like that game was purely just because I started inting, and we still almost won it off of a York split push. So like, it just hasn't seemed like we've been in a bad spot against them really.
Okay. So that would put, or who did you guys have versus TLO versus TDO?
TDL.
TDL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, TLO versus TDL.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the DOV one again.
I'd still say TDL probably. I don't know. If I'm remembering correctly, didn't they do a pretty good job last time? I think it was this last week. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, I think they did take it. I
TDL
actually
beat us week 6.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually think I would
listening.
take them right now.
Okay.
Not in overall strength. I think it's more of a matchup thing.
Okay.
I think the matchup is just looks really good.
So that would put us versus. God Almighty, I'm sorry. I'm trying to like remember this bracket. That would put us versus PSA. No. Yes, that would put us versus PSA in the losers bracket, which would determine who you play in game 8. So TLO versus PSA, who do you got?
I'd take TLO there.
Okay, TLO. I just think they match up stylistically better.
I think TLO is a stronger team than PSA.
Okay. So that would put TLO versus you guys in game 8. Toryland, how are you feeling about that? Do you think if you guys have a good day in the bottom lane that it goes differently?
Probably it's just it's kind of a hard matchup down there for us with the playstyle. I think that was basically our main concern. It's literally just a clash of playstyles there. So I feel like if maybe there was something different that we did with our comp, then it would work better, which is something that we could do. But just with how we approached it last time, I don't think it would be good. But
I
yeah,
think I think I have some. I think I'm optimistic about that matchup. I think I have some interesting ideas going into that one.
Okay. What about the rest of the team and how they stack up? Gambit. Let's just talk about junglers for a second. What is your jungler's name? Remind me, please. It's slipping.
Beasting. Yeah.
Okay, so Beasting versus Gambit. Gambit probably one of the higher KP junglers in the league right now, and it's no secret to anyone. He puts a lot of pressure on the bottom lane. How much
yes.
does that influence your matchup? Are you guys good at absorbing that pressure and letting plays happen elsewhere, or is it definitely gonna like be a 3v3? Is
It's
that
really depending. Like
okay?
I
if
think it's fully draft depending. Yeah. Sorry, you can go.
yeah, and it's the draft and also who we have because we had been rotating between sometimes having our subs and sometimes having our normal starting roster.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who we have, it becomes a different story because of the different ways that they play. And so sometimes with our roster, we can put a lot on, say, top, for instance. But it really just depends on like the player and the draft that we're able to do with that. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes we struggle to take the pressure in bot only from us, like, I don't know, just not paying attention sometimes. But honestly, that's something that we just need to get better at. So I think if we do something like that has an easier time absorbing that pressure, then it would be a lot easier. We just keep putting ourselves in these picks that don't take it well.
Okay, makes sense. Your guys' mid laner, Asylum, did he play the very last week?
He did not.
No.
He did not. So if he returns for the playoffs, and obviously, again, you don't have to say that information, I think that you guys are going to do well against other mid laners that choose to fight him. Because although he has some weird picks, sometimes they work, sometimes they do not. He's a very good micro player, and I think that he knows when to take advantage, especially of an enemy mage when he's on one of his crazy picks. So if you guys have a enemy mid laner that wants to fight him and wants to contest CS and waves and objectives, that he could really be a huge impact for you. Although it's quite the opposite when he faces someone who doesn't, who knows how to just stay alive and absorb waves, or when he gets drafted on where he gets shoved under a lot. So, how is with his weird picks? How does that go into your prep? Again, you don't have to divulge any information you don't want to, but it's just such a personally. I'll be honest with you, I'm interested because we don't have anybody that plays like weird picks or anything. Well, we don't let in a row. Let me rephrase that. So,
I don't know what you're talking about. I saw that phase rush Lucian.
the slow resist, man, the slow resist. For the record, that was a mistake. We didn't say that, but that was a mistake. He was playing the reworked Udyr.
Ah,
But how does something like that, those crazy picks, go into your draft ideas, styles, and preparation for a team?
I'll hand that to Major. They do that.
I think a lot of it is. I mean, there's a lot of trust involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to. We've always trusted him to pull out picks. Like again, the Pike's always been like his signature pick, and anytime that he tells us like I will smash this matchup with it, we just pick it. Like
Okay.
it's he knows when he can and can't pull it out, and if he tells me he can, then it's coming. So
All right. All right.
it's like that, and then again, a lot of it is just like making sure we have a team comp built in a way where he can feel free to pull out different picks like that. Making sure we have the rest of the team ready to play around it, and I think we do a pretty good job with that.
Well, that's great to hear. I've kind of lost myself where we are in the brackets, so I'm gonna ask you guys just who you got in the finals, and who do you think takes home the prize of IBSG Duo Title Season 11?
That's a great question, Major.
Um, oh, let's see. Let me see where we were in the bracket. I think PGM makes it off of just through the winners bracket,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'll be us or TDL from the losers. I would have to say.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
not sure which. I think that'll be that final losers bracket game.
Well, then we're gonna go with the good old faithful of believing in your own team and say
Yeah.
you got PGM and Eden in the finals. So this brings back a good scenario. So you guys would have already played them in a best of three earlier in the bracket. After playing them once, going to the losers bracket, catching that fire, and going to a best of five, do you think that Eden can actually pull out the win in the finals?
It depends because sometimes it can be hard to do a lot of games at once. Even scheduling the games is very, very difficult because we have people who can't be up late and people who can't start until late. So that would be a challenge to say the least. So it would really have to depend on just the mental of everybody at that point for both sides of like, how long can you do this for? It's literally like an endurance race at that point.
I think as far as actual like prep goes and as far as like matchups go, I think depending on how much we see out of them in the first one, we could I think there's an angle we can pull it out, but I think it would definitely be the hardest matchup.
All right. So with that being said, who do you feel like you line up against the best inside of this playoff bracket? Like, if you play this team, you know that you guys are just going to stomp them, or you know for sure you're going to bring out the victory.
I think. I mean, I've already said I think we match up really well with Dio.
Okay.
Like I've been saying that we've been doing well against them. I don't think that's necessarily because they're bad. I just think we've had good matchups with them every time we've played.
Okay. Okay. Um, so, with that being said, I want to get your take on Duo, how you've liked your first experience with the content-driven league. Anything you want to say to the other teams in the playoffs, you're more than welcome to say. So, Torlin, what do you got? How's Duo going for you, and is there a message you want to give to the rest of these teams?
Duo's been fine. Again, I'll just reiterate, we did not realize it was BO1s when we joined, and that is not something that we are very good at, and we know that. But it's just as a team. So, we were pretty sad about that, but that is literally on our part. That is nothing that we could have changed at that point. So, it has been rough, but we've still been enjoying it. We've still been having fun, and I think that's the really important part because that's honestly why we played this game in the first place, hopefully. But yeah, so I just say good luck in the playoffs for everybody.
Okay. What about you, Major?
Um, I think kind of the same. I've been enjoying the content that's been coming out. I've been watching most of the podcasts and all of that. BO1s have been rough. There was another thing I was going to say about it. The just I think the only other part that's been a little frustrating is the number of games each week, like with different teams. So like
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to scout, like I also coach another team, so I was like scouting one team for the team I coach, and then 3 teams for us, and it was just like so much scouting every week. And then and I know like it also starts like an hour earlier than most leagues out there, so a lot of people get caught off guard by that. But yeah,
Oh,
I think all in all, it's been a fun experience, and I'm looking forward to playoffs.
okay. Any message for the enemy teams in the playoffs?
I have no idea.
All right. All right. Hey.
Good luck.
Yeah,
All
good
right.
luck.
I
Can't
have
wait.
one more question before we say our goodbye here. Are we gonna get to see the famous Nico one shot again in these playoffs? Because I wanted you to know that that was probably my highlight for your team this entire season. Caught me off guard. Didn't think you were gonna 100-0 him, but it was sick.
I love Nico. I hope so. She is so funny.
I
You and Stevie both.
I hope that we get to see it many times.
All right. Well, thank you guys for doing the interview, making it very easy to schedule. I do appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
You too.
You too.